could notice something different, something new about you because of your
Absolutely, yeah.
faith in Christ. Okay, cool. Um, so what
Yeah.
about college? Do you want to talk about what your college experience was like,
Yeah.
or
Just want to touch on college for sure. So yeah, after high school, I went to UConn, University of Connecticut. That's where
go
I studied.
Huskies?
Go Huskies! Yes, everybody knows us as the basketball capital of the world. Um, but that was really great, and I was really grateful that even though I wasn't accepted a whole lot by my peers in high school for my faith, I was able to find a community in college that accepted me for my faith and helped me grow in my faith as well. And that was through the Yukon Catholic Center. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
awesome.
that was one.
And what did you study? What did you study in college?
So I studied human development and family sciences, and then I got a master's in public policy at the Yukon Hartford campus. So I did
Oh,
my
neat.
undergrad at Storrs, which is the main campus, and then I got a master's in public
Mhm.
policy at Hartford.
That's another connection we have in common because my dad went to UConn for grad school.
Very cool.
So
Oh,
I
that's awesome. What did your
actually
dad study?
he studied chemistry. So
Cool.
for a time when I was very little, we lived in Stores, like near Yukon. So we,
Very
I
cool. Oh,
guess
that's
we have that.
awesome.
We're like twins.
Mm, yes. I
um,
feel like so many people study chemistry at UConn. They must have like a good department or something. I feel like I
yeah,
always hear
maybe
about
it's renowned.
grad students like studying chemistry. I don't know, but that's
I
interesting.
I heard they like make their own ice cream there at UConn. Like, is that a
They
big
do.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a UConn dairy bar. I'm lactose intolerant, so that was always kind of tough for me with the
Maybe they
dairy
can
bar, but yes,
develop
there is a
some
nice dairy bar.
lactose free ice creams or something. Yeah, I
That would be
remember
nice. I would
when I was a
support
kid
that.
and we were living at UConn. I remember we had like a almost like a dog dish, like a plastic dog dish bowl, but it was just for ice cream.
Okay.
It was like you could take this dog dish bowl and go reload it with ice cream or something. And that was like a significant memory of my childhood. All right. So,
Fair. Yeah. Well, so now that you asked me a bunch of questions, I'd love to. Could I ask you a little bit more about your childhood? So you started on, okay, so were you born in Stores or yeah,
no,
when did you move to Stores?
I was born in China. My parents are Chinese. They met
Okay.
in China in college, and I was born like very quickly after they were married. Actually, my dad was already at UConn studying chemistry, and my mom gave birth to me in China. And then shortly after, she brought me to my grandmother, my dad's mother's and father's house, and they raised me for my first couple years of life while my parents lived at UConn. And then I think when I was about 2 years old, my grandmother brought me to reunite me with my parents. And that's the start of my American childhood. We moved
Nice.
a lot because of my dad's career. So after UConn, we moved to Ohio, and I did like kindergarten and maybe a little bit of first grade there. And my middle sister, was born in Ohio. And after she was born, we moved and we drove to Rhode Island. And that's where, at first, we were in an apartment and then we moved into our first house. And Rhode Island is where I was in second grade, third grade, up through sixth grade. So basically, most of my elementary years were in Rhode Island. And after sixth grade, we moved to New York State, like Orange County, New York, and that's where I entered middle school and stayed there to finish high school. So middle school and high school were in the same, I was living in the same town in New York and suburbs. And after high school, I got into college at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I was
Very cool.
there.
So you said you were pretty academic, so that makes sense that you ended up at MIT.
Yes,
Wow, it
my
must have been really hard to get
parents.
there.
Yeah, for my parents, I mean, since education opened so many doors for them to come to the U.S. and work hard and start their careers, and so they always instilled in me the value of education, and I I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed reading. I enjoyed math. I had really good teachers, and school was it just became my passion. um,
Awesome.
so yeah, I graduated first in my high school and went to MIT after that, and I think I graduated like a semester early. Maybe I spent like 3.5 years at MIT, and then
What did you
um,
study at MIT?
my major was biology. Yeah, but
Cool.
I also I did a lot of history classes, and for the first time started acting classes. So I that
Wow,
was
that's
yeah, I
awesome.
discovered that I enjoyed acting, and it was a good way to gain confidence and not be so shy and be more bold. And so
Yeah,
I think that really helped me become a teacher, because as a teacher you are kind of you're front and center, you're speaking, you're managing kids. So I think that helped me. So
absolutely. And how long have you been
yeah,
a teacher now?
I started teaching I started my master's program in 2013 part time, and finished in 2016. And I think my first teaching job was the fall of 2014. Yes, the fall of 2014 was my first teaching job. Yeah,
So
and
yeah, a while now. That's cool.
yeah. I've always been in teaching in the middle school range, so that's kind of my wheelhouse, like the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade years.
And do you
And then
teach
there's
biology or
I
what do you
teach
teach?
science. I teach middle school
Science,
science,
okay.
which includes biology. It includes a lot of everything. It's just a little taste of everything
Yeah,
for the kids, like the whole universe, basically.
genetics and
Oh yeah,
yeah, environmental things
volcanoes,
probably.
weather, physics, the universe. I feel like I have to know so much to teach middle
I'm
school
sure.
science.
Yeah. No, I would
Yeah,
I imagine that's just from what I remember from middle school. I feel like there was a lot that
yeah.
we
There's
touched on.
rocks,
So
there's human body.
geology, right?
There's
Yep.
animals. It's everything. But another significant part of my life was becoming a Christian, and so
Yes. Tell me more about that.
that started after college.
Oh
So
wow.
I
Okay.
had a college boyfriend. It'll be funny if he ever sees this, but I had a college boyfriend, um, and I was like obsessed with him, and it, I think if we're talking about faith, he actually probably became like an idol to me. That
Okay.
my whole life was kind of revolving around him. Like no fault of his, just I just you know got too
Wrapped up
obsessed
in
about it. Yeah, it just I'd never had a boyfriend before, and I think I was just idolizing this romantic love. And so I think when I graduated college, that's when the relationship like fell apart. He was, moving on to grad school in another state, and that wasn't my direction. And so I think it was hard to see how our lives would continue to sync up. And he was Catholic, and I wasn't. I didn't have a faith at that time. So
Okay.
I think that was probably a strain. Anyway, so
Was he like a practicing Catholic, or was he just like kind of Catholic by name,
I
or?
mean, I remember he would. I remember he went to mass, and
Okay.
I've went with him like a couple times, but yeah, it didn't really reach me, I guess, at that time.
Okay.
I'm actually I guess a Protestant Christian, so that's interesting that we have you and me. I think it'll be an interesting
Yeah,
mix. Yeah. So anyway,
absolutely.
so the relationship fell apart, and I was really devastated. It was, it was like depression. I just couldn't imagine going on. And I was really, I was really hopeless, and I was very sad and didn't, want to do much. I just like watch, watch sad movies and stay indoors. And it was a hard time. It was really hard. But, God didn't leave me there. He sent me help through the form of a friend or an acquaintance from college who, I was talking to about my breakup, and he brought up a verse from the Bible. It's Romans 8:28, and I actually have a Bible here. I'm just going to open it to make sure I quote it correctly. Romans 8 acts at Romans. It is a famous verse that is important to a lot of people.
I'm sure I've heard it before.
Yeah.
I'm not as good at quoting scripture, but I'm sure I'll recognize it once you say
Okay.
it.
Yep. So Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." So it says that for those who love God, all things work together for good. And I'd never heard that before. And that kind of drew me in. I was like, wow, all things can work together for good, even my suffering and pain right now. This can turn out for good. That's, incredible. So I started attending his church, and I went to Borders, and I bought a Bible, and I started praying in my room, and
Borders.
yeah, and this woman from the church, she started to meet with me once a week and go through a study of the book of John, which just asked really big questions about who is Jesus and what matters in life. And she would listen to me and answer my questions and hear my struggles. And I think, yeah, I was looking for hope. I was looking for love that lasts. I was looking for a light out of this dark tunnel that I was in. Another verse that was really important to me at that time is from the book of Job. And let me try to find that. "You will forget your misery. You will remember it as waters that have passed away. And your life will be brighter than the noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning." So those two verses, that's what I really wanted in my life. To forget my misery, to remember it like waters that have passed away, for my life to be brighter than the noonday and for my darkness to be like morning.